Welcome back to this series on Pre-cert Legends. This episode we look at another fly-by-night company, Apple Video. Apple, owned by ex-World of Video 2000 director Ray Linton, released 19 videos all in all, mostly through its main label but also two sister companies, Video Classics and World. The biggest problem with Apple's releases was that they were mostly mastered from old BBFC censored cinema release prints. This left the company in the dust compared to other companies that were sourcing and mastering their videos from uncut prints. Be that as it may, Apple's first batch of releases came in November 1982, and they were They Made Me a Criminal, Battle of Blood, released on the World sub-label, Blood Devils, The Last Concert, The Adventures of the Bengal Lancers, Creature of Evil, and Curse of Death. More or less generic stuff, but let's have a look at a few. Blood Devils is an Eddie Romero movie, the very same Eddie Romero that made Section 3 title Tomb of the Living Dead. This particular release was heavily cut, whereas a later reissue on the Horror Time label was completely uncut. By contrast, Creatures of Evil was uncut on video but had been cut for the X certificate during its UK cinema run in the 1970s. It was also one of the many horror films in the 70s to be shot in the Philippines. Curse of Death was also originally released theatrically in the UK with an X during the 1960s. The Last Concert was a film by none other than Schlockmeister Luigi Cozzi, and also starred zombie flesh eater's very own Richard Johnson. The film itself, though, is just some weepy old bollocks. Then, in December 1982, there were two releases, Night of Terror and The Victory at Sea. Night of Terror, otherwise known as Terror in the US, is actually quite a landmark film since it features an ageing Boris Karloff and one of the first films Jack Nicholson starred in before he hit megastardom. Today, the film is in the public domain since there is no copyright notice at the end credits for the film. The final releases from Apple came on or around April 1983, and they were Dick Tracy, the Scientific Detective, released on the Video Classics sub-label, which was Volume 1, Flash Gordon, also on the Video Classics sub-label, which was Volume 2, Loverboy, Made for Each Other, Night of the Zombies, The Private Lesson, Psycho from Texas, Island of No Return, The Red Light Girls, and Terror of the Sea. Only a few films of note here. Both Dick Tracy and Flash Gordon, released on Video Classics, Apple's sister label, were released by other companies too. This suggests that these films were either in the public domain or else no one was keeping tabs on their copyright status. Neither would surprise me, to be honest. Loverboy starred the always lovely Edwidge Fenech, and has the standard awkward boy gets with hot woman plot typified more famously by the film Private Lessons. There were loads of films like this starring Fenech, and it was practically a genre in and of itself in its native Italy. The film itself runs for barely an hour long though, but this would have been in quids in for Apple anyway given how expensive videotape was at the time. Night of the Zombies was the last film made by Joel M. Reed, the director of the much more infamous Bloodsucking Freaks. But by all accounts, Night of the Zombies is a chore to sit through, despite its fantastic box art. As with many pre-certs, the X rating on the box was self-imposed in order to heighten potential interest in the video-consuming public. The Red Light Girls has the dubious distinction of being perhaps one of the worst gialli ever made. In fact, it barely even is a giallo, with the action, if you can call it that, revolving around a single murder. Tonally, the film is all over the place, and structurally it's a mess. Even worse, in some versions of the film, are crude porn inserts that are about as sexy as watching paint dry. As of May 1983, Apple Video was no more, but at least there was a few interesting titles here. So this brings us to the end of perhaps the shortest episode of Pre-cert Legends yet. However, stay tuned for an upcoming episode on Either Films where we take a certain detour from the usual format and I go on location to where key scenes from exploitation masterpiece Take an Easy Ride was filmed. So till then, thanks again for joining me, and as ever, here is the roll call of honour.